This is the Distinctly Detroit podcast, the only pod that explores why one wants to be in the D. I am your host, Fyodor III, the director of the University of Michigan Detroit Center. Join me as I interview students, scholars, leaders, and innovators about living, working, and loving in Detroit. Welcome back to the Distinctly Detroit podcast. Today our guest is Ameer Stein, better known as Mersiless Amir. Amir's first release was A Day Without a Rhyme in 1989 and grabbed attention from record labels like Def Jam, Smash Records, and Warner Brothers, to name a few. He has performed across the world in Chicago, LA, New York City, London, and more. His discography is continuing to grow with his most recent release, True Legend, streaming now. Please help us welcome the hip-hop legend, Mersiless Amir.
All right.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you very much. So, where did you grow up?
Man, I grew up in Detroit, man. You know what I'm saying? 7 Mile, Livernois area. You know, born and raised. Lived there, you know what I'm saying? Probably, you know what I'm saying, till high school.
Okay.
High school, you know what I'm saying? The family moved out to Southfield. You know what I'm saying? And I went to high school in Southfield, at Southfield Lathrop High School.
Okay.
Played football and all of that, yeah.
Okay. So where'd you go to elementary school?
Man, I went to a few elementary schools. I went to Pasture, which was right around the corner from my crib. I went to Jesu School too, so I got a shout out to my Jesu Giants.
Oh, you was one of those protected kids. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They need to be protected from a G, but you know what I'm saying? No, I was out here doing my thing, but then I went to Region 5 Middle School, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shout out to R5M, you feel me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in an interview you've previously given, you mentioned that your father was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he owned a lot of different businesses, and one of the
Yeah.
businesses he owned was an Army supply store.
That's true.
What did you learn from watching your father run his businesses growing up?
Man, I mean, I learned a lot, man. A lot of discipline, you know what I'm saying? A lot of, you know what I'm saying, entrepreneurial skills, you know what I'm saying? My father was a hustler, you know what I'm saying? He was also a musician himself. And, you know what I'm saying, he instilled that in me, you know what I'm saying? Started taking lessons as a youth, probably in the, you know, age 6. I started taking piano lessons and I did guitar lessons, you know. So I had a lot of music theory stuff going on. But my father, he would always wake me up early as hell in the morning, talking about get up and hustle, you know what I'm saying? And so that was instilled in me early. And I would go to work with him, and you know what I'm saying, I actually was managing that Army supply store. It was called Military Outpost in Ferndale, Michigan. And yeah, I used to manage the store when I was about 13, 14 years old, you know what I'm saying? It was a great experience, you know what I'm saying? It was work though, you know, it wasn't easy, and you know, I had to be disciplined to do that and be there. But you know what I'm saying, it was rewarding, and you know, it just gave me a sense of, you know, like I said, entrepreneurship, really a focus that, you know, is important, I think, and that's what he was trying to instill in me, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was a big look, though.
Okay. How would you say his influence has affected you as far as your music career? Because you've been independent your whole career.
Yeah.
How would you say your father's influence has affected your decision to be an independent artist and not sign?
Well, you know, I would say, you know, my father, you know, he was really supportive of my music, you know what I'm saying? My father and my mother, you know what I'm saying? And God rest my father, so, you know, he passed in 2005, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he's missed, but my mother's still with us, and, you know, she's still very supportive of what I do. And, you know, it's like this, man. You know what I'm saying? At the time when I came up in music, everybody wanted to have a record deal. Everybody wanted to be signed to Def Jam, or, you know what I'm saying, Profile or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Boy. And so I wasn't no different, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, whatever label, you know, I had a lot of label interest, you know what I'm saying, from A Day Without a Rhyme success, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, for one reason or another, you know, a lot of them things didn't work out. I did end up signing a deal with a major label. I signed a deal with Polygram Records, you know what I'm saying, and recorded some music with them, and really recorded like a whole album, but it didn't come out. And you know what I'm saying, you just you go with the flow, and you know what I'm saying, you learn the ropes. You feel me? And you know, hey, it's like it was a learning experience. You know, it wasn't exactly what I expected, and but my father, you know, he was there with me a lot of times. Like you mentioned
Mm.
Smash Records. I was surprised to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Because that was a label that you know, wanted to invest a lot of money in me. They flew me to Chicago. That's where the Chicago thing come in. Flew me out there, offered me a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? And but I didn't take interest in that deal because I was more interested in bigger labels, you know what I'm saying? I had other labels that was talking to me. They was coming to the studio from EMI and you know what I'm saying, RCA. They was all coming flying in, you know what I'm saying, from LA to meet me, to spend time in the studio, see my recording process. And so I was kind of like MCA, you know what I'm saying, Def Jam, Smash. I'm like, I don't really want to, you know what I'm saying, I don't
Yeah.
know enough about Smash. It was from Chicago. It wasn't out of New York or LA.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, I didn't tell them no, but I just sat on it. You feel me? And my dad was like, someone, come on, son, we got to take the deal. They giving you a lot of money. They was offering me. At that time, it was about $75,000 advance. And then they were saying they buy anything I wanted from the studio for my studio, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I was, at the time, I ain't had no studio equipment. So I was really excited about that. But at the same time, I was like, man, I signed with them. I can't sign with Warner Brothers or whoever else is, you know what I'm saying, interested. And so later on, the time came where I got a letter in the mail from Smash. They was like, yeah, we withdraw our offer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was like, and my dad was saying, see, I told you, you said you should have took that one. And people was like, man, it's a once in a lifetime thing. You know what I'm saying? When a label offer you a deal, but it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I got another deal after that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, really it's a matter of, you know what I'm saying, your passion and what you know, what you want out of it. You know what I'm saying? If you really wanna stick to it and you still got that drive, then all these opportunities are still gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not like they just fall away after you decide you don't want to do one thing. You just keep moving and better opportunities open up. And you know what I'm saying? We was talking a little bit before, you know what I'm saying, before the camera started rolling about how the industry is and what the industry is, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. We're gonna get to that.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay,
Let me
okay.
let me jump in one thing real
All
quick.
right,
Curious. You
for sure.
mentioned that, you know, again, your father was an entrepreneur, but
Yeah,
he was also a musician. He exposed you to music. You got
yeah,
training.
right.
How did you come to pick hip hop and rap as your genre?
Yeah, so all right, so that's a great question. So man, really, you know what I'm saying, when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, I used to like singing. I like Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? I was a big Michael Jackson fan, you know what I'm saying? You know, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Off the Wall album, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was bananas. That was the first concert I ever went to, was the Jacksons at Joe Louis Arena. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I went to that shit by myself, you know
Oh
what I'm saying, when I
wow.
was about 12 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I went and bought the ticket.
I was there with my mother.
You was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's real. Yeah, I went to that boy by myself. You know what I'm saying? My neighbor down the street drove, and my homeboy's mother and his sister came, and so they took me there. And you know what I'm saying? They was in there, but we was somewhere else in the
Yeah.
show. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? That's what I loved. But you know what I'm saying? It was just, singing was a little soft to me. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I heard hip hop, Rapper's Delight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, right here this is what's happening, you know what I'm saying? I could rap. Well, I didn't really know it was called rapping. I could do this, I could talk the song without
Yeah.
singing the song, without looking silly like a singer, you know what I'm saying? To me, they was always looking silly the way faces singers be making this, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, man, so yeah, after that, I really started to love hip hop and rap music and start writing raps, and you know what I'm saying? I was influenced by it in a major way at that point, you know. So that's how I got involved in it. But I was
Okay.
also a DJ, man. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? And I DJ'd all through high school, a lot of parties and things like that. I DJ'd at college too, you know what I'm saying? I went to Morehouse for a little while, You know what I'm saying? And I was a DJ there, DJ'd all the frat parties and stuff like that. So shout out to Morehouse, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then I was also, you know, I know you remember Mojo. So
Yes.
when I was DJing, I was on a Mojo battle. You know what I'm saying? I won this battle on the Mojo show. It's called the Mixer Dome.
Okay.
Mojo's Mixer Dome. And I battled this DJ named Alan Esther. He's a, you know, right now he's a famous house DJ, you know. But me and him battled. I won the battle, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Al Esther though. That's my mentor, you know what I'm saying? So I got love for him, but you know, I had to, you know, do my thing in that battle. But you know what I'm saying? But I was writing raps at that time too, and you know, it became something that kind of really went to the forefront in my mind as, you know, what I wanted to do when I was in college. I decided to, you know, kind of come home from college, you know, so with my parents' consent, you know, and you know, get in the studio, you know, and start recording. Shout out to my homeboy Nick Smooth, you know.
Well, you
Yeah.
I didn't give you my questions in advance, but you jumped right on. But so you got into the studio, you did your first production, your first song you did with Nick Smooth.
Right.
How did you and Nick connect?
Man, that was my homie, man. That was my, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of like the little homie in a way, you know what I'm saying? But he was always a hustler, you know? And actually he used to work down the street from my parents' store, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it was on 9 Mile in Ferndale on Woodward. And he worked at the McDonald's down there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so that's how we met, you know. I'm going in there, you know, getting a, you know, Big Mac or what have you, and he'll be like, Amir, man, you know, how you get so fresh, dog? He thought I was fresh. He liked my gear, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm like, bro, you know, I work, you know what I'm saying? I work with my family down here, you know. Told him to come down to the shop, and he came down a couple times and stuff. But you know, he really was ambitious, and he wanted to, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to achieve a lot more, you know what I'm saying, a lot faster. And he got out there 1 year. I ain't seen him for about 6, 7 months. And then I seen him and he was just pulling up in something fresh and, you know what I'm saying, something crazy. Not just fresh, some crazy kitted up, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Nick, you don't work at McDonald's no more, huh? And he was like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing this and that. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, later on we chopped it up and I was like, man, look, you doing your thing, you getting some money, let's go in the studio. You know what I'm saying? I've been rapping, you know, maybe we could do a record or whatever, make a record label. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, that might be a good idea. You know what I'm saying? He heard some of the music that I was writing and stuff and he was like, this is sweet, let's go ahead and do it, you know? So that's when I went in the lab and I did an album, it was called Lord of the Lyrics. And that's where A Day Without a Rhyme came from. It was on one of the songs on that project. So
A Day Without a Rhyme is Detroit all-time classic. Still gets played on the radio time to time. To this day, was running the radio from '89 to. Good Lord, I remember it all through high school. I graduated high school in '91. It was still a hit when I was in high school.
That's dope, bro. Appreciate that.
You know, it brought you a lot of accolades, brought a lot of information. How do you feel about that song? I mean, how do you feel about like your first single being such a massive hit?
Man, you know what? I mean, I feel good about it, man. You know what I'm saying? It was the flagship song on that project that I did. You know what I'm saying? And it just happened to be the one that, you know, got released first, and you know, it took off. And you know, I gotta thank a lot of people for the success of that record. Like, you know, Marie Nelson, if you remember Marie Nelson at the Raps Corner show on what was that? Not The Scene, but the New Dance Show.
Okay.
So they had put me on the New Dance Show to perform the song. And then they started getting a lot of calls like, you know, we want to play that record. And Billy T was one of the people that called down there, you know what I'm saying, and said he wanted the record. And then he hit me up and, you know what I'm saying, the rest was history. Like but it was also my man, Marvelous Marv. Shout out to Marvelous Marv, you know what I'm saying? I hope he's doing well. You know, he played the record every morning. And that's the song that everybody heard waking up in the morning, getting ready to go to school or riding on the school bus. That's what everybody be telling me, like, bro, we was playing your song on the school bus in the locker room when we got to school and all of this. So it was an inspiration to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of, you know, people that was in high school, it was just a big inspiration for them getting started on their day every day. So, you know, they remember that, and you know what I'm saying, it's a big look. I feel
And
good
we
about it.
and my crack research team said Eminem shouted you out during his Hall of Fame induction speech.
Right,
How,
right.
you know, how that make you feel to have like to be an inspiration to Eminem, you know, from this
Yeah.
area?
Yeah, dog. That was a big look. That was major. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't get no more major than that, like except unless they, you know, was calling me onto the stage to get my reward, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But it was almost the same thing to me, like for my name to be, you know what I'm saying, mentioned and resonant in the Hall of Fame, you know what I'm saying? It was a major look. You know, I knew M was a fan, you know what I'm saying? I met Eminem the first time I met him, we was in Vegas at the first BET Awards, right?
Okay.
And so I'm there, you know, I'm outside for a minute and I see Proof outside. And you know what I'm saying? He wasn't inside with M, you know what I'm saying? He was outside. And I was like, I had some passes though. So I was like, you coming in? He was like, man, they ain't letting me in. And I was like, come on, let's go. I got a pass for you, you know what I'm saying? Pull Proof in, and you know what I'm saying? We went up in there, was mingling with, you know, everybody, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and all of them guys, because, you know, they was all with M. But before that happened, I went backstage when M was performing with NWA at the show, right?
Mm.
And so when they came off stage, I'm standing there and M's walking up and I was like, Eminem, I was like, what's up, man? I'm your homeboy, Mersiless Amir. And Eminem jaw dropped like this. He was like, and he was just froze. And then he was like, a day without a rhyme. He started singing A Day Without a Rhyme to me on the stage. And I was like, hey, that's a good look, man. I appreciate that, dog. And he was like, what's up, man? And I was like, look, take my card or whatever. It's security and all of them started pulling him away. You know what I'm saying? I really couldn't talk to him at that moment, but you know what I'm saying? I knew he was a fan right then. He started singing my song to me, you know?
Yeah.
So that was cool. You know what I'm saying?
As one of the like founding or original breakthrough artists from Detroit in the hip hop rap scene.
Yeah.
You know, Chaos and Maestro, Awesome Dre, and all
Yeah.
them out back in the day.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's, you know, and Detroit was famous for producing musicians, you know, Motown and everything else. Why do you think Detroit hasn't produced more big name rappers, or has been bigger in hip hop?
You know what? I mean, you know, couple of answers to that. You know what I'm saying? First of all, like Eminem, yeah, okay, don't get too much bigger than that. I mean, every city can't have 10 super major people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, New York's got them, LA's got them. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta, Houston.
Well, yeah. Houston, I mean, they got, you know, UGK. I mean, right? That's Port Arthur. I mean,
Ghetto Boys.
Ghetto Boys. Okay.
Um,
I mean, okay, you talking about like
it's-
Zero and Trader Troop and all of those guys, Texas guys. I mean, you know, I got love for them, bro. I love all of the music, but I feel like,
or how about even a label, like a big label coming
Yeah.
out of Detroit? You know, Rap-A-Lots in Texas.
right.
You know, in Georgia. I can't even think of all the labels in
You know
Georgia.
what? It could be different. You know what I'm saying? But we do got Shady. I mean, now this all come back to M. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you know, M. He is a major, like a super major. Like you know what I'm saying? So you can't deny that. Now, would it be nice to have another label that's doing super things? Because you know we know M has signed other people, but you know, aside from D12 and I guess Obi, you know what I'm saying, who was on, but I think Obi wasn't on Shady though, was he? I think he's on like Columbia or something.
Think got him a deal with somebody else. Yeah.
So, but you know, M, who did he sign? West Side Gun? Like he signed some in 50 Cent. I mean, everybody know who Shady is, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, but to answer your question, like, you know, it took a long time for Detroit to get on, you know what I'm saying? And now we got people like Big Sean out there, you know what I'm saying? We got people like T Grizzly and we got Sada, and you know what I'm saying? guys that are influencing the game like in a major way. You know what I'm saying? Like
42 Doug.
42 Doug, yep. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these young dudes, Babyface Ray, you know, shout out to all of these young guys, man, that's getting it in. So it's a different day. And Detroit rap is it's the dopest rap in the world, really. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So I think it's gonna be a lot more success from here.
Yeah. So being where you are, you know, all these years in the game, what advice do you have for young aspiring rappers or even anyone who just wants to get in the entertainment business?
Man, my advice, man, I tell a lot of young rappers this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, make sure you have all the tools that you need to be successful on your own. Don't be someone who needs you know, someone else to propel you to success. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying? That's how you get into these little fixes where, you know, you dependent. You don't want to be dependent. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned, you know what I'm saying, how I went to college, but, you know, I left college to be in the music business. Sometimes I wish I would have stayed in college because, you know what I'm saying, I would have got a lot more fundamental, you know what I'm saying, you know, just educational things, you know, that would have took me a little in different directions. Hey, you could be an entrepreneur. You don't got to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can figure it out, and a lot of these young people do that, man. It's a lot of ways to become wealthy. You could be trading stocks. You could be buying Bitcoin, but you know what I'm saying? That whatever it's gonna be, make sure you independently successful so you can dictate the music that you want to create, and don't be out there trying to or having to do what the industry wants you to do, because all they're going to do is make sure that you come out with something that's going to be a negative influence in our own community. And, you know what I'm saying, we got enough of that. It's too much of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we definitely want to reflect and you know what I'm saying, report on what's happening in our communities and in our neighborhoods. But more importantly, we want to shape what's happening in our communities and create a better narrative and not perpetuate that negative narrative. You feel me? So the only way to do that is to be independent and to be, you know, self-sufficient. You feel me? And that's what I'm saying. That's what you got to do.
Yes, sir.
That's what y'all need to do. Where the camera at. Be independent.
Okay. So how have you been able to maintain your integrity with your career to this point?
Man, bro, you know what I'm saying? I just practice, you know what I'm saying, my core values. You know, fortunately I had, you know what I'm saying, a father and a mother that was, you know, instilling that, you know what I'm saying, in me, instilling you know, wisdom and you know, values that took me a long way, you know. I know, you know what I'm saying, we got a lot of families that are from broken homes, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, father's not around or you know, die early on in their life, you know what I'm saying, or their parents might have died early on or whatever situation, you know what I'm saying, and it makes things a lot more complicated, make life more tricky to navigate. But, you know, personally, I mean, I've just tried to, you know, stay prayerful, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay faithful in the Creator, and you know, that right there that's gonna take you a very long way. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna keep you away from a lot of negative influences and things that could you know what I'm saying, be obstacles that you may or may not get beyond. So, you know what I'm saying? We know that we all know the story, you know what I'm saying? The traps, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, you know, we gotta try to maneuver around it and just, you know what I'm saying, you know, elevate, you know what I'm saying, and elevate the culture.
Okay. In terms of, I asked you a question earlier about giving advice to young people, but one of the things as far as, to me, a phenomenon I found interesting in rap and hip hop, because I still love it. Word. You know, I'm 50 this year and I argue, I'm the same age as hip hop. I argue with my friends all the time, all these old heads, they're like, we don't like this new stuff. They mumble rap, this, that, and the other. Okay. But for me, the phenomenon I found interesting was the whole thing where artists claiming they don't write anymore. You know, like they just think Lil Wayne went into the studio and just rapped his whole notebook into a, you know, into a single or into an album or whatever,
Right.
mixtape, and people don't rap. They say Jay-Z just walks in and spits one bar. But how do you, as a young person, don't you have to work on your craft? Don't you have to work on your writing? Because I remember Biggie telling his people all the time, you need to write every day. You need to work on stuff all the time. So how do you reconcile this creativity with working on your craft and this whole don't write thing? I think that's just the strangest phenomenon myself.
Well, listen, man. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta be honest, man. Like, writing is a process, right? You know what I'm saying? So you write your thoughts down on the paper, right? And then recording is another process, right? So once you've written it, then at some point you're gonna go and record it. You know what I'm saying? You might go to a recording studio and put your verse down, or you might do it at home, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now they got home recording equipment, so you know what I'm saying? But I think it's important to, initially to learn to write on paper. But listen, you know what I'm saying? It's creativity happens in all types of ways. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, bro, this album right here, right? This is my new album, my latest album. It's 33 songs on this album right here, bro, right? How many of them did I sit down and write on paper? I say probably none of them. Okay. I ain't write none of them on paper. I just got on the mic and rapped it. You know what I'm saying? And this is not how I started though. You know what I'm saying? When I first started, I would write them down. Day without a rhyme, I wrote it all on paper. You know what I'm saying? And probably that whole album. But it just got to a point where it's just like, I got to get my ideas. I just got to record my ideas. And like I said, it's a process and it's a jump from the paper to the recording, you know what I'm saying, session. And it might, you know what I'm saying, you might write it today and don't go to the studio for a week and a half and get in there and be like, how did I say this part? And then you on the clock and so now, you know what I'm saying, I cut that part out. And I learned that a long time ago, just like I used to have a little tape recorder and I'll say my rap into the tape recorder. But then I still had to go to the studio and record what I rapped on the tape. Yeah. So now I was so elated when home recording equipment, you know what I'm saying, came around because it was just, that was one of the biggest innovations in my career. You know what I'm saying? In my life, it's just like, man, this is a gift from God. You feel me? So now I can just rap at home. I got the mic and I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna say this. I say the whole thing, you know? So yeah, I mean, that's something that I can't say, don't do that or, you should do it this way. Creativity, like I said, it come in a lot of ways. And even you mentioned Biggie, he stopped writing it. You know what I'm saying? Biggie just started rapping it. Jay, yeah, I heard Jay just go in the studio. I think it was Mad Skills told the story how he's in the studio with Jay-Z and he said Jay-Z was just standing there bouncing the ball up against the wall for about 15 minutes. And then he said, all right, I'm ready. And went in the booth and spit the whole 16 that he had just thought up in his head. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Probably everybody ain't gonna be able to do that. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure his verse
probably evolved. Like you say, he started writing and got to this point where flows are in his head or memorizing.
But at the same time, so now he evolved, and all the young people that's coming up under us are evolving. You know what I'm saying? And they're evolving faster than us, just like in anything, just like in academically. You know what I'm saying? And physically, you know what I'm saying? And sports-wise and everything, they're beyond. You know what I'm saying?
They're faster, stronger.
Yes, that's right. So that's how evolution go, and it's no different in hip hop.
Well, speaking of evolution, how would you say? Yeah, your first album came out in '89. Yeah. How has technology improved your game or enhanced your ability to produce music?
Yeah, in a major way. That's what I'm saying. Like really, home recording equipment, home studios, and things. I tell a lot of people like. It changed the business. It changed the industry. Now you see, just like computers changed the business because now everything is streaming. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't got to buy a CD, you ain't got to buy vinyl, you know what I'm saying, unless you really want it. And that really took a lot of record labels out. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of record companies that had to shut down, major labels, you know, that you don't see no more now. And recording studios as well. Unfortunately, a lot of them went out of business because of home recording studios. You know, if you know what I'm saying, in Nashville, you know, which is another major music market, right? They have zoning laws in Nashville. They did, at least probably like 10 years ago. They had zoning laws that you could not record an album for commercial use in your home studio.
Oh wow!
Now that was ridiculous to me. Like,
wow,
that's
protection.
Yes, you had to be zoned to record. So even if you got a home studio and you record your record, you can't release it because it wasn't recorded at a major recording studio. And that was those studio owners saying, "Hey, we're going out of business. We don't have anybody coming in. They're all at home recording, and this is, you know, this got to stop." So they put it in legislation, you know what I'm saying, zoned it, outlawed it. Nah, I'm sure, I would imagine is over at this point, you know, because how can you tell people they can't, you know?
I mean, how would you know?
Yeah, somehow, I guess, somehow, you know, Nashville is small. If you live there and you come out with a record and people know about it, where'd you record that? You know what I'm saying? A lawyer send you a cease and desist?
I mean,
well, yeah, they probably start figuring out tricks, you know what I'm saying, get around that. But
that's wild.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So you got a new album coming out. What do you want to tell us about the new album? You say 33 songs.
Yeah. This song is out, man. This album is out on all the platforms. You know what I'm saying? Spotify. Shout out to Spotify. Nicole at Spotify. They put me on a playlist that after M gave me that shout out. You know what I'm saying? Shady did a playlist, and Spotify reached out to me because Shady reached out to Spotify because A Day Without a Rhyme wasn't on none of the streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? So then Spotify emailed me directly and called me. Then they had DistroKid call me, you know what I'm saying, and asked me to put it on the streaming platforms. And so that's how I got on there. So, you know, yeah, shout out to Paul Rosenberg and those guys. They talked a little bit about how that process happened. It was kind of crazy, but the record is on all the platforms, iTunes and, you know, Tidal and all of that right now. And you know what I'm saying, it's doing some cool numbers. I mean, you know, to me it's just about doing what you love, you know what I'm saying? And coming out with, you know, so many people always asking me, man, when you coming out with something else, man, I love A Day Without a Rhyme. I love this other song that you did and that song that you did. And I be like, man, I don't even know how y'all heard them songs sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Where'd you hear it? But they be like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Songs that I had on the radio that, you know, I didn't really know people was, you know, you never know who's listening. Obviously, if it's on JLB or something like that, you got 100,000 people hearing it. But, you know, it's inspirational to, you know, meet people and they always telling you, listen, we want to hear more from you. We love what you do. And so, you know, that's how this record came about. And it's got some cool features on there. We got Big Herc on that record. We got Awesome Dre on there. We got Young Bleed from No Limit Records. He on the record. It's got a lot of cool people. Shout out to Katrina Storm. She on a new song that I got that we just dropped it's an AI song. So, you know what I'm saying? You just mentioned technology and how, you know what I'm saying, how is that influencing my music? So
AI, I'm helping you make music.
Yeah, so I got an AI joint right now with Snoop Dogg AI on it. You know what I'm saying? And people is feeling it. It sound like the real Snoop Dogg, you know what I'm saying? And he going crazy. Like a lot of people was like, dog, Snoop Dogg is killing it on the song. And it's like, man, okay, we did it right. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Snoop Doggy Dogg, man. That's one of my favorite rappers right there. And you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you listen to Snoop, you know what I'm saying, let's do the video for Life So Rough.
Okay. Couple more questions before we wrap this up. But other than the music, what else are you doing? What else are you doing with yourself?
Man, I mean, other than music, bro, I'm doing a couple of things, man. You know, I work with a car company that's upcoming. It's called Tryon. It's a supercar company. So basically, you know what I'm saying, you see your Lamborghinis out there, you know what I'm saying, the foreign cars like Bugattis and Ferraris and all of that. So this is the rival car. It's called a Tryon Nemesis, right? The company's called Tryon. Shout out to my guy Richard Patterson, good friend of mine. I was mentioning I went to Region 5 middle school, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I met Richard when we was in the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? And he used to always draw cars, and he'll slide the picture over to me. I gotta put something on there, you know what I'm saying? Add something to it. I throw some wheels on the car or a number. I usually throw a number on the side. I like racing.
Okay.
So, but Rich, you know what I'm saying? After that, he became basically a designer of vehicles and worked for the big three. And then he ended up working for Tesla. And he actually, now this is a brother we talking about. He actually designed the Tesla Model S.
Oh, wow.
For Elon Musk. And you know what I'm saying? And he worked with a lot of companies, but that's kind of probably the biggest thing that he's noteworthy for at this point, aside from his company that I work with. And you know what I'm saying? So it's really exciting. The car is called the Nemesis, and it's faster than a Bugatti, 2,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, something like that.
Wow.
Super sweet, dog. So, you know what I'm saying? You'll hear a lot more about that car very soon. We got one of the ambassadors, actually now he's a partner in the company, is Lil Romeo.
Okay.
So Romeo is involved in the company, and we was hanging out with Romeo at the CES show. And you know what I'm saying? Romeo's a cool kid, and he's
I just wanted to go to CES.
CES, yeah. CES is a lot of innovative technology.
Yeah.
So
dope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna transition to our to what we call our lightning round. This is where we ask you some quick questions about kind of how you engage in the city and some things you like about the city or you love about the city. And the first question is, what's your Coney order?
Coney, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna probably go with a loose burger, chili fries with cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. Gotta have some cheese on the loose too.
Okay. Frito-Lay or Lay's or Better Made?
Better Made.
Okay. Favorite place to go in the city?
Man, you know what? I spend a lot of time at La Casa cigar bar. So that's one of probably my favorite go-tos these days, you know.
Okay. Favorite Detroit athlete?
Barry Sanders.
Favorite Detroit sports team?
The Lions.
Okay. Favorite Motown artist?
Mm.
And for you, we'll say not Motown the label, but favorite performer or artist from Detroit.
From Detroit?
Yeah.
Myself included?
That's what you're supposed to say. That's what I was hoping you. That's what you're supposed to say.
You feel me?
That's what I was hoping you. That's why I extended. Say, let me not limit it with Motown. Shameless self-promoter. I love it.
No, man. To be honest, though, man, I love Marvin Gaye, bro. You know what I'm saying? Marvin Gaye is amazing inspiration, and the music that he wrote, you know what I'm saying?
That's what we got to do, the all hologram tour.
There it is. Yeah.
And last question is, where can we find you?
Man, you can find me on the gram, you know what I'm saying? Mersiless _Amir, MERSILESS _AMIR. And that's also TikTok, Facebook, you know what I'm saying? All of the Snapchat, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can see me on the, and I got a website too, it's merciless.com.
And and the question I meant to ask off rip was, how did you come up with Mersiless Amir?
Man, you know what? It's a long time ago, but I think it was one of my favorite characters, man. You know what I'm saying? It's from I don't know if y'all watch Flash Gordon ever, you know what I'm saying? It's some OG sci-fi. But Flash is enemy Ming the Merciless, you know what I'm saying? And at one point I was just like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and be Amir the Merciless, or the Merciless Amir. And so that's when The Day Without a Rhyme came out, it said the Merciless Amir on the record, you know what I'm saying? And, that was it, man. We was riding with it, you know?
Yes, sir. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Merciless Amir. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time to join us, brother. We really appreciate your
My
story.
pleasure, bro.
Wish you all the best
Yes,
in your
sir.
future and your music, and we'll get that right.
Yeah.
And we'll fix that and edit.
All right. All
But
right.
please check out the album,
Yeah,
True Legend.
Yes, sir.
33
Yes, sir.
tracks for you.
Yeah.
And this brother's been a friend to the Detroit Center, helped us out with panels and other things, and we're looking forward to continue working with him. And this has been the Distinctly Detroit podcast. You can get us anywhere you get your pods. Special shout out to the Michigan Alzheimer's Disease Center for their sponsorship of our show. Please like, rate, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This has been the Distinctly Detroit podcast. This is a production of the University of Michigan Detroit Center. You can find us anywhere you get your pods. Please like, subscribe, and rate us. This podcast is executive produced by Marlon Franklin, edited by Aranza Stanton, and written by Shaylin Jones and Fyodor Ship III.